I rise in strong opposition to the amendment. The bottom line is that what this would do is it would tell the FDA you cannot do post-marketing surveillance on a drug because it happens to be mifepristone. That's a very dangerous precedent. So let's talk about the quote study that was done by, I don't know how it was referred to, Heritage Ally or whatever. Well, many of the studies are actually done by institutions who benefit from abortion, like who financially benefit from abortion. And they have, their academic centers, they do abortions there, and then they come out and say, we don't dismiss that. We look at the quality of the data. So let's look at the quality of this data, because this is big data. Now, I've done drug studies for the FDA when I was in my previous life. Carefully controlled. These are very carefully controlled. These things are administered by physicians. They're usually administered in a clinic, in this case, for this drug. They're not ordered by mail by anybody through some third party and getting it, taking it at home with no physician contact at all. So yeah, the controlled studies indicated that serious adverse events did occur, but they're maybe 1% or so. So what do you have now? You have big data. You have the ability to look at insurance records from millions of people, not dozens or hundreds like initially controlled studies, where you look and say, okay, did this person get a payment from an insurance company to get mifepristone? And if the answer is yes, you said, okay, let's look at the insurance company data to see what subsequent claims were made for that person, including emergency room visits for things that are directly related to the induced miscarriage, because that's what mifepristone does. Lo and behold, when you look at big data, the serious adverse effects are 10 times as high. That doesn't mean it really is 10 times high, but it means that, wait a minute, that's called post-marketing surveillance. When you take a study and it deals with hundreds of patients, and now you have the ability to look at millions of patients, why would you not want to do that? Unless you're politically motivated to protect something. That's dangerous. FDA should always be available to do post-marketing surveillance. That's how some of the dangers of things like Celebrex occurred. One of the most popular non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs had to be taken off the market because post-marketing surveillance showed it was dangerous. Well, what if we had introduced an amendment that said you can't look at Celebrex? Oh, that's right. It's not politically charged. So now to say that the effort to look at is politically charged is a politically charged effort to say the FDA can't do post-marketing surveillance. What if that result really is 10% serious adverse events? Should the FDA be allowed to change the labeling just to indicate that the incidence of side effects is higher? Of course they should. Under this amendment, they can't. They literally can't. There could be gold standard studies out there. Under this amendment, they can't do anything for this politically protected drug. That's just not good science. I don't say that study is completely accurate, but shouldn't it be looked at? When you've looked at the results of millions of patients and noted a stark difference between that and what was found with the initial research? Of course you should. Of course you should. That's exactly why we have an FDA. So I rise in strong opposition to the amendment.